Welcome back to the DFS Sweatshop. I am your host, the DFS Guruzulum, and you can follow me, of course, on Twitter at DFS Guruzulum. Today, we're going to be breaking down last night's 8-game NBA slate. Man, awesome games, excellent games you saw, man. A lot of high scores. I believe the cash line was high as Giraffe Coochie, higher than Wiz Khalifa. I'm talking about, man, what a high draft. We had scores on DraftKings well over 400, and whenever you see that, man, you know the cash line is going to be high to boot. So that's kind of, we can see that a lot on FanDuel, but on DraftKings, man, for the high score on DraftKings to be 419, 420, that's some hell of a scoring. And it's kind of funny that we saw those huge scores like that. Because, man, I put out this core four, man, that I really liked them. And I hated that a couple of guys in the core four performed fairly well at low ownership. But those guys were just obliterated by some of the other high scores that we saw around the NBA. So we're going to go with our regular formatting of the show. Of course, well, there's a couple of games that's still going on right now. And I wanted to go ahead and get this show started just for the simple fact that I've got some appointments early tomorrow in the barbershop. So I'm going to go ahead and get a show out for you and get you some content, man. Get you something to look at on your Saturday morning. And, I believe we might have some NASCAR going. There's a lot of college basketball going to be in play tomorrow. So if you wanted to take a day off from NBA DFS, tomorrow will be the perfect day. I mean, it will be the perfect day to take off. But I know some of you are just like me. You are a degenerate. You are still going to be playing, even though we've got those choppy slates over on DraftKings. I'm talking a 3-game, a 4-game, a 2-game. Just put all the games together and let it go all day long. Come on, man. Why are you dragging us out? But we seem to excel a lot on those shorter slates. Less places for the Sharks to hide, man, with their plays. So I'm sure you're going to be taking advantage of that, as I will be too. Without further ado, well, we're going to go with our regular formatting show. We're going to talk about the core 4 plays. My core, the guys that I had in my lineup, see how those guys stacked up. Also, we're going to be jumping to the feature 4 plays of the night. And then we're going to be recapping last night's games and then looking ahead to see some of the matchups and things that we can take advantage of as we go into our Saturday. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the core 4 review. Now, in chopping up the slate, man, one of the first things that kind of jumped out to me as I looked over the point guards was Jeff Teague, 15.6% ownership. Went out and scored 41 DraftKings points at 7.3. Not exactly, a 6x, but very close to it. About 5.9, 5.8x in value. That was a very solid performance there. But like I said, on a night like tonight, where there were so many great performances, that kind of got swallowed up. You needed damn near 7, 8x from everybody in order to keep pace with all the scores that we saw tonight. But I did have Jeff Teague in there. Liked him from the start. Was a play that I definitely thought that was a solid play to go to. Next guy we're talking about is going to be Jay Crowder. Now, the funny thing about this is, I had Jay Crowder as a core play early on in the day. I liked him a lot. Wanted to take advantage of, the game kind of blowing out. And whenever that happens, we know that we can look to some of the helpers of the studs, not just the stud. Like, you didn't have to just, oh, man, the game's going to blow out. Who's going to do the blowing out? Isaiah Thomas. Cool. Lock in Isaiah Thomas. No. For a lot less, you could have gotten somebody else who's going to be helping him along the way and blowing the team out. And that's why I decided to rock with Jay Crowder. And he was very low owned, 6% owned, 5.9K, brought back 31.5 DraftKings points. Just good enough for a little over 5x value. Not bad. Cannot shake a stick at that. But on a night tonight, where the scores are so high, we needed a lot more than that. We did. Next guy we're talking about is going to be Kemba Walker. And I hated to use one of my Kemba Walker squares on a night tonight where there was just so many high scores. It kind of sucked. In fact, I forgot that I'm not wearing my lid. Sorry about that. I got to throw on the logo. Sorry about that. Right. Yeah, on a night tonight, it kind of sucked that I had to use one of my free squares, man, on Kemba Walker. 10% ownership in some GPPs as low as 7%. 44.5 DraftKings points what he brought back at 7.7K. That was a very solid performance there. And the worst play of the day. And the funny thing is, it didn't kill you. It didn't really kill you if you had this dude. I mean, you didn't cash big at all. But we're talking about Robin Lopez, man. Rolo went out there and sucked a fucking dick. Horrible game we saw for Robin Lopez, man. He just shacked the bed in so many different ways. And I can tell you, man, it's going to be tough for him to ever make his way in one of my rosters for the rest of the season, man. That was just a horrible performance. Dude went out and got 4.5 DraftKings points. Like, how? It's crazy. So this core four, man, it looked pretty good. Started out very well because Kemba, of course, played that early game, Kemba and Jeff Teague. But then by the time we got a chance to see Rolo, man, it was bad. It was bad. So hope you had some really good cores, man. I kind of impress upon you all in the sweatshop as we in the midday mix a lot of times. That's why every day I post in the group, man. Go ahead and show us your core four. Who do you want to rock with? That way, if you're not sure, if you don't like mine, if you want to do something else, if you got a core that you like, you can post it in the group so that we all can see and kind of use those as building blocks when it comes to our roster builds. And it's been working very well so far. So next, we're going to be jumping into the feature four plays of the night. These are the four most talked about, tweeted about guys in the DFS sweatshop, in the Facebook VIP, and as well as on Twitter. Now, the first of our featured four players is going to go to the Who Dat, scoring all them points over there, player of the night. This goes to none other than Brandon Jennings. Is a funny thing about this too, because halfway through the day, or midday, we find out that John Wall's been suffering with migraines, and there's a chance that he might not play, so he's questionable. Well, I immediately start to build rosters with Brandon Jennings in them so that I'll be familiar with that type of roster build just in case we found out that John Wall wasn't going to be playing. Well, later on after that, we find out, oh yeah, John Wall is going to play. So then I completely take Brandon Jennings off of the table. Should not have done that because this game did blow out. He saw 21 minutes, had 18 points, 3 rebounds, 9 assists, made 4 3-point shots, scored 37.25 DraftKings points at 6% ownership. That was an awesome game that we saw from Brandon Jennings. That's why tonight you are the Who Dat, scoring all them points over there, player of the night. Next guy we're going to be getting to is the how did I miss that play tonight? This is the guy that we should have had in our lineups. I should have had in my lineups. Talked about him earlier in the midday mix, but we're going to go ahead and get into that in just a moment. Jimmy Butler, how the fuck did I miss you tonight? Now, quick background about this. We talked about Jimmy Butler in the midday mix. A lot of cats were on him. Thought he was core four considerable. I'm sure they had him in theirs. But for me, I had a feeling that he was going to be fairly chalky. Did not really want to bite that chalk. Shouldn't have bit the chalk that I did bite. But, I felt like he could be in a situation where he could be just tired. And kind of showed me that no, he's not. Like, he's still ready to go. He is good to go. He played 42 minutes, had 36 points, 11 assists, 7 boards. Awesome game we saw from Jimmy Butler at 9.2K, brought back 68.75 DraftKings points. That was good for a top 5 scoring finish on the evening, and that is why you tonight, Jimmy, Mr. Butler, you are the how did I miss that play of the night. The next guy we're going to talk about is the heat check play of the night, and this could only go to one cat, Devin Booker. Now, D-Book could have been the how did I miss that play tonight, the heat check play tonight, the Who Dat. This month he was everything but a snowflake tonight. I'm talking about Devin Booker went the fuck off, went Spider-Man turkey ham. He went nuts. 70 real life points. Played 45 minutes in this game. 8 boards, 6 assists, made 4 3-point shots, 3 steals, a block, only had 5 turnovers. Man, this dude went nuts. Awesome game we saw from him. And funny thing about this, this is the funny thing about this, is all day we're ducking Devin Booker. Oh, I don't want to play Devin Booker. I don't want to play Devin Booker because Avery Bradley. I'm so scared to play Devin Booker. I don't want him to get shut down. Devin Booker. We're gonna play all the other guys. Everybody's like, get on Ulyss, get on Sauce, get on Chris, get on all these other guys. And we find out in enough time to make that change that we're not going to be seeing Avery Bradley. So who's going to be guarding Devin Booker? And we even know who's going to be on the floor to guard him, Jaylen Brown. We know this. And a lot of us, me included, did not make that crucial move and go ahead and get Devin Booker in our lineups, knowing that without all of those other bodies, that he was going to have to play 40 minutes. We rostered Ulyss off the premise that he's going to play 40 minutes. Then why the fuck didn't we roster Devin Booker off the same premise once we found out that Avery Bradley was taken clean out of the game? We dropped the ball on that one. And that was an awesome game for you, Devin Booker. Tonight, you are the heat check player tonight. I do have one bone to pick with you because I'll show you. So dude goes out, drops 70 real life points, breaks a record not only for his specific team but against the Celtics, and goes out and tweets this tweet: be legendary, number 70, praying man hands, D, Devin Booker, getting it in, and there's all this, great stuff about him, and all this career high 70 points. You're showing, oh man, it's awesome. Oh, you dropped 70. Oh, look at this. Oh, like all these guys with their shirts off, and you got this little paper that says you got 70 points. Oh wow, it's great. It's so awesome. Devin Booker, previous high 39, 70. Oh, Kobe comparisons to Devin Booker. This is awesome. Oh, look at these dudes, no shirt on. Oh, this is so great. Nobody's had a shirt on. Just scored 70 points. But fam, you lost. You lost the game. You lost the game, bro. Like, I've never seen someone so happy after getting their ass whooped. I mean, and this is not a knock. This is not a knock on Devin Booker. This is not a knock on anybody. This is the age that we live in, man, where individual accolades kind of trump what the team is supposed to do. Because I don't care what anyone says. Those 70-some odd points that he scored could have been equally and evenly distributed amongst his teammates. They could have been in this game. They could, if you got one cat on your team that can score 70 fucking points, then there's some other dudes on there that can help too. I don't care. There's no explanation for that. And the fact that they're just so jacked, like they're smiling and just got their ass whooped and they're so happy. And this is the age that we live in. It's a sports center age. Everybody wants to get on the cover of Sports Center. Everybody wants to be number one. Everybody wants to be the look at me person. Nobody really wants to do the dirty work. And let's just say Kawhi dropped 70 points. Kawhi Leonard dropped 70 points. He's not going to do this. This is not what's going to happen. This is not what's going to happen after the game and a loss. No, they're going to be pissed. And the competitive nature when it comes to winning games is why we see a lot of stuff that we see in professional sports now, that the way they are. That's just truth. That's the truth. And while I cannot take nothing away from this young brother, man, this brother went out and dropped 70 points, man, an awesome game. But I would much rather you had 40 points, 15 rebounds, 15 assists, more steals, more blocks. Fuck up scoring points. Fuck scoring points. That don't involve your teammates. That doesn't. It kind of disinvolves your teammates, if that's a word. They was just, it got to a point in the game where they were just standing around. Where they was like, oh, he's close to breaking the record. I'm not going to shoot it. You go ahead. And that's great for fantasy. Awesome. But for the actual game of basketball, man, damn. We in a time now where it's just all about, this, and the after effect. Oh man, look what I did. And then Dave bought it into it too. This motherfucker don't even play no more. These motherfuckers don't even play no more. What are y'all? And secondly, what is you taking a shower for? You didn't even play. Eric Bledsoe, what are y'all doing in the showers? Y'all didn't even play the game. This is ridiculous. 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 But shout out to Devin Booker, man. Great game. 70 points. Awesome for you. And now, let's talk about this one motherfucker. You know what? As a matter of fact, let's don't talk about this motherfucker. Horrible game. You're dead. Simple. You're dead. I'll never roster your bitch ass again. You're a motherfucking snowflake with your snowflake ass, and tonight you're a dead snowflake. I would never, ever. I don't even want to hear his name before. Robin. I don't even want to hear the name Robin anymore. Robin don't exist no more. If there's a bird and it's red and it's on a tree, it's not a red Robin. Robin is dead. Nobody can ever say the word Robin to me again. I don't want to hear that shit ever again. If you tweet me and say Robin, I'm going to block you. I don't want to hear shit ever about anything associated with a Robin. Not a bird, not this dude, not even his brother. His brother's on life support right now. Anybody who's associated with this dude, I am pissed at right now. What a horrible performance. 4.2K, 4.2 points. 4.2K, 4.2 points. I ain't no mathematician. I can't even correlate the point per dollar for that shit. That's ridiculous. Horrible. Horrible. And you're dead. You're dead to me. So let's get on with the rest of the motherfucking show. Now we are gonna start in Washington, where the Brooklyn Nets came to town. On the Brooklyn side, man, not too much to talk about. Rondae Hollis-Jefferson had a really solid game. 22 minutes for him. He had 19 and 7 to go with 2 assists and 1 steal. We also saw a fairly decent game off the bench for Justin Hamilton. In 22 minutes, he had 20 points, 6 boards, and 2 assists while shooting 7 for them from the field. KJ McDaniel, 10 and 2 to go with 1 assist, 1 steal, and 1 block. Isaiah Whitehead off of the bench in 18 minutes had 10 and 2 to go with 2 assists. And a horrible game we saw from Jeremy Lin, 14 and 1 to go with 3 assists. Brook Lopez, 6 and 7 to go with 2 assists. You and your brother. Horrible. Horrible. Oh my God. Horrible. Randy Foye in 26 minutes had 8 and 1 to go with 4 assists and 2 steals. Didn't see much from anyone else. Karis LeVert, 18 minutes. He had 4 and 2 to go with 2 assists and 2 rebounds. Also had 1 steal. On the Washington Wizards side, fairly decent game we saw from John Wall. 22 points, 4 rebounds, 9 assists, and 1 steal. Was a decent basketball game, but this wasn't a great fantasy performance from him. The only guy that really balled out, besides Brandon Jennings, 20 minutes, 18 points, 3 rebounds, 9 assists, was Ian Mahinmi. In 23 minutes, he had 16 and 7, with 4 steals and 1 block. Pretty solid game there from him. Didn't see much from Bradley Beal, 19 and 1 to go with 3 assists and 1 steal. Didn't have to see much because they blew the guys out. Marcin Gortat in 18 minutes had 8 and 9. Also saw Markieff Morris for 20 minutes. He had 5 points, 1 assist, 1 steal, and 1 block. And Otto Porter Jr., man, he started off hot as a bitch. In 20 minutes, he had 5 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, and 1 block. Not a great game there from him. Next game we're going to talk about is going to be the Charlotte Hornets right up the street, taking on the Cleveland Cavs, inviting Cavs over for dinner. We saw a pretty solid game from LeBron James, man. 32 points, 9 boards, 11 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks. He fell 1 rebound shy of that triple-double. He shot 64% from the field and 87% from the free throw. Got to the free throw line 16 times, converted 14 of those tries into points. Kevin Love in 28 minutes hit a double-double, 15 and 12, with 4 assists while shooting 50% from the field. We saw a nice game from Kyrie Irving in 37 minutes. He had 26 and 1 rebound to go with 7 assists and 4 steals while shooting 50% from the field. Not too much else we saw from anybody else. Tristan Thompson had 8 and 7. Not a great game there from him. On the Charlotte Hornets side, really nice game we saw from Cody Zeller in 32 minutes. He had 15 and 11 to go with 3 assists and 2 blocks. And a lot of those were offensive rebounds. They were on the boards, man. They were really attacking. It was a very close game. Marco Bellinelli off of the bench in 32 minutes had 22 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists while shooting 58% from the field, hit 3 of 7 3-point shots. And my main man, Kemba Walker, in 38 minutes had 28 points, 2 boards, 5 assists, 2 steals, and 1 block while shooting 50% from the field. He hit 5 of 10 3-point shots and hit 3 of 4 free throws. Pretty solid game there. Not a bad game we saw from Nick Batum in 34 minutes. He had 19 and 2 to go with 2 assists and 3 steals while shooting 38% from the field. Could have seen a much better shooting game from him. He had 2 of 9 3-point shots. And Marvin Williams in 38 minutes had 11 and 11 to go with 2 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block. Pretty solid game there from Marvin Williams. The next game we're going to talk about is the Orlando Magic at home against the Detroit Pistons. And you know what? Detroit sucks, put simply. I mean, this is supposed to be like a revenge game for Tobias Harris. And in 25 minutes, he has 11 points, 3 assists. They get the doors blown off him. Shitty game. They bring Ish Smith as a starter. Only plays 15 minutes, 6 points and 3 rebounds. Not a great game from him at all. John Lure off of the bench was decent. In 27 minutes, he had 16 and 8 to go with 2 assists and 1 steal. We saw Reggie Jackson for 20 minutes. He had 11 and 4 to go with 3 assists and 1 block. Not a great game from anybody. Boban Marjanovic in 12 minutes had 15 and 4. Of course, that was Scrub Love in the blowout. And we saw Andre Drummond for only 19 minutes. He had 6 points, 14 boards, and 2 assists. Also blocked the shot. Not a good game from anybody on the Detroit Pistons tonight. On the Orlando Magic, man, we had some really solid information in the shop, kind of like some inside information where back testing some of the perfect lineups, man. What we found out, well, we didn't find this out. Rudy found this out, and he shared it with us. Was that Detroit has given up the most perfect lineup spots at the point guard position since the All-Star break, and that kind of put Elfrid Payton on a lot of our radars. Now, whether we made a play on him or not, that's up to us. But the research that was done in the sweatshop really uncovered this, and it continues to uncover shit all day long. It uncovered the Jay Crowder play. It uncovered the Anthony Davis going off of 63 today. The research, man, the dude is doing is fucking on point. So Elfrid Payton in 28 minutes had 14 and 11 to go with 10 assists, a triple-double. Nobody saw that coming but us. Very solid game there. Also, Terrence Ross, 18 and 4 to go with 2 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block. Pretty solid game there. Aaron Gordon, 16 and 4 in 29 minutes, also had 2 assists and blocked the shot. And Nikola Vucevic didn't have a great game, but he did kind of do a little bit of everything. In 26 minutes, he had 16 points, 8 boards, 6 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block. And we saw Evan Fournier for 23 minutes. He had 15 and 3 to go with 2 assists. Very, very, very decent game from all of the Orlando Magic, man. They just laid the wood to those guys. Next game we're going to talk about is the Indiana Pacers at home against the Denver Nuggets. And this is a fairly similar. I know everybody was over there being dazzled watching Devin Booker and his performance. But you know, there's kind of the same thing happened with Paul George, man. Like he turned it into another gear in that fourth quarter, and it was so weird because he was just scoring the ball, scoring the ball, scoring the ball, and would not involve the rest of his teammates. If he had gotten those other guys involved midway through the fourth quarter after he had already showed that, hey, I'm hot, so defense come to me so I can find my teammates. If he had done that, there was a chance that they could have came back and perhaps, you know, maybe push this game in overtime or even won this game. But that's not what happened. He fell in love with, oh, everybody look at me. I'm scoring a bunch of points. It's in the fourth quarter. I'm going ham. And that's why they lost the game. But Wilson Chandler, in 34 minutes, getting the start, had 24 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. Pretty solid game there from him. Also blocked a couple shots, going 10 for 16 from the field. He hit 3 of 5 3-point shots and did convert the one free throw that he had into points. Dino Gallinari didn't have a great shooting game, but he finished with 21 points, 11 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal. Also blocked a couple shots. He went 2 for 16 from 2 for 12 from the field for like 16%, but he got to the free throw line 18 times and converted 17 of those into points. He shot 6 3-pointers, did not hit a single one, but Nikola Jokic in 34 minutes had 13 and 17 with 5 assists, 1 steal, while shooting 66% from the field. Very solid game there from him. Gary Harris kind of disappointed in his 30 minutes. He had 10 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 steals. Not a great game from him. Will Barton off of the bench, not a big one either. 23 points, 23 minutes. He had 10 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists. Not a great game there from him. But on the Indiana side, we talked about Jeff Teague already, man. And in 32 minutes, he had 21 points, 2 rebounds, 8 assists, 2 steals, and 1 block. Very solid game there from him. We saw a nice one from Paul George in 34 minutes. He had 27 points, 9 boards, 3 assists, 3 steals, 1 block, while shooting 55% from the field. Hit 4 of 5 3-point shots and converted 5 free throw tries into 3 free throws made. Pretty solid game we saw from him in a losing effort. Monte Ellis off of the bench in 30 minutes had 17 and 4 with 1 assist and 1 steal. Did not see much CJ Miles. He only played 17 minutes and scored 7 points, 2 boards, 1 assist. And Miles Turner in 35 minutes had 20 and 4 with 2 steals and 4 blocks. And don't you think it's time to tell Thad Young, yo, go ahead and take the rest of the season off, bro. It's clear that you need to have surgery on your back, like you just, or whatever you need to do. You need to rehab, do something, because you're not balling. You're just not balling at this point, and you're a liability to the team. And this is a team that's trying to make the playoffs, and I don't see that, you know, being a possibility as long as they've got a guy that's noticeably hurt and agonizing in pain as he's playing. So they need to do something about that. Next game we're going to talk about is the Boston Celtics at home against the Phoenix Suns. Phoenix side, we already know what it is. We already know what it is. Alex Len in 25 minutes had 11 points, 6 boards, 2 assists, and 2 blocks. Pretty decent game from him. Devin Booker played 44 minutes, had 70 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 steals, 1 block, while shooting 21 of 40 from the field. That is 52%. He also hit 24 of 26 free throws and hit 4 of 11 3-point shots. Pretty solid. Big game there from him. Big Sauce Allen Williams in 24 minutes had 9 and 14 with 1 steal. We saw Leandro Barbosa for 30 minutes. He had 11 and 5 with 1 steal while shooting 41% from the field. Didn't see much from Marcus Chris, man. He had 3 points in 21 minutes. Jones, not a lot from him. Just horrible showing from a lot of these cats on this team. On the Boston Celtics side, really nice game we saw from Jay Crowder. Had a double-double in 27 minutes, had 13 and 10 with 3 assists, while shooting 4 of 8 for 50% from the field. He had 2 of 5 3-point shots as well. Al Horford continues to sizzle. In 30 minutes, he had 15 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists, and 2 steals, while shooting 7 for 10 from the field. That is 70%. Also, converting 2 free throw tries. He converted 1 into points. Isaiah Thomas got to the free throw stripe 11 times and knocked down all of those. He finished with 34 points in 32 minutes. Also had 2 rebounds, 7 assists. Pretty solid game there from Isaiah Thomas. Kelly Olynyk off of the bench in 17 minutes had 13 and 4 to go with 2 assists. Pretty solid game from him. Jaylen Brown was a very solid play in this game. 3.3 was the price point on him. 25 minutes, he got cooked by Devin Booker. Cooked him, and it wasn't even funny. He had 9 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, and 1 block. And he is still cooking. Like, he is still sitting on the grill, bro. Devin Booker cooked him, bro. It was bad. It was bad. Next game we're going to talk about is the Chicago Bulls at home losing to the Philadelphia 76ers. And this league is so weird because this same team can, you know, blow the doors off of Detroit, and then in Detroit, and then at home against Philadelphia, get their ass knocked off. That's exactly what happened. On the Philadelphia side, Dario Saric, big game from him, 32 points, 10 rebounds, 2 assists, and 1 steal. Pretty solid night there. Robert Covington had not a great game. In 28 minutes, he had 9 and 60 with 1 steal and 1 block. TJ McConnell did a little bit of everything. In 25 minutes, he had 10 points, 5 boards, 8 assists, and 3 steals while shooting 66% from the field, going 4 of 6. Gerald Henderson in 27 minutes had 14 and 5 with 2 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block. And we saw Sean Long have a coming out party of sorts in his 19 minutes off of the bench. He had 18 points, 7 rebounds, 1 assist, and 2 steals. And Sergio Rodriguez in his 22 minutes had 12 points, 4 boards, and 7 assists. Also had a steal. Pretty solid game we saw from him. On the Chicago Bulls side, the only cat that came to play besides Jimmy Butler was Bobby Portis. In 21 minutes, he had 17 and 11 to go with 1 assist and 2 blocks. Nikolai Mirotic in 26 minutes had 15 and 4 to go with 2 assists. And Jimmy Butler, 36 points, 7 boards, 11 assists, 3 steals. Very solid game there, shooting 41% from the field. Got to the free throw line 21 times and converted 16 of those tries into points. He finished with 42 minutes played. Very solid game there from him. Didn't see much from Rajon Rondo. 4 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, and 4 steals. And that is the way this dude is, man. This dude is just somebody who's inconsistent. You just cannot trust him to perform in back-to-back games, much less for long stretches during the season. Next game I'm going to talk about is the Milwaukee Bucks at home against the Atlanta Hawks. And this team is shaping up to be a very solid threat to beat somebody in the first round of the playoffs, man. They are. And it was funny because you look, I was like, damn, Giannis got 12 points. Because I had him in a couple spots. Damn, Giannis got 12 points. Cool, first quarter. Damn, Giannis got 19. Wait a minute, Giannis got 22. Hold up. Giannis got 20. Wait a minute, Giannis got 40 points in the first motherfucking quarter. That was ridiculous. I was like, oh, I'm about to take some shit down. But while that's happening, old Devin Booker's over there stroking like he over there knocking him down. So it would have been great to have both of these guys in the same lineup, but that did not come to fruition for me. But we're gonna check on the Atlanta side. Dwight Howard, D12, in 32 minutes had 12 rebounds, 20 points, 1 assist, while shooting 63% from the field. Very solid game there. Tim Hardaway Jr., 25 points, 2 boards, and 4 assists. Also blocked the shot in his 39 minutes. Pretty solid game. Dennis Schroeder, 28 and 7 to go with 7 assists and 1 steal. Also had a blocked shot. And can we go ahead and put to bed the Ersan Ilyasova shit? In 32 minutes, he had 9 points, 9 boards, 2 assists, and 2 steals. The dude is not filling in for Paul Millsap. I don't know what he's doing out there. He's still playing like he coming off of the bench. He is. It's horrible. Taurean Prince, the guy who they kept trying to put us on. Horrible game. 19 minutes, he had 5 points, 1 board, 1 assist, and 2 steals. Dude is trash. He's a bum. He's not good. Don't do it. Don't do it. On the Milwaukee side, Chris Middleton, man, I cannot roster Chris Middleton at all. I just can't. He's gonna have to take. I'll get back to him next year. I'm not saying he's dead to me because he was injured, but yeah, I'll get back to him next year. 31 minutes, he had 6 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals. Giannis Antetokounmpo. Now he did all of that wrecking shop in the first quarter and must not have played in the second quarter because he didn't score at all. He finished with 40 at the half. That was bad, man. 34 points, 13 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, and 3 blocks while shooting 59% from the field. Hit 7 of 9 free throws and 1 of 3 3-point shots. Pretty good game there. Greg Monroe, nice double-double in 26 minutes. He had 14 and 10 to go with 3 assists. And we saw Malcolm Brogdon for 35 minutes. He had 14 and 3 to go with 7 assists. Pretty solid game at that price point for him. Next game I'm going to talk about is the Houston Rockets at home against the New Orleans Pelicans. And I thought that I was hitting on all cylinders, man, because I had lineups with Giannis and Antetokounmpo. No Booker. Could have easily had Booker. No Booker. Now, on the New Orleans Pelicans side, big game we saw from Anthony Davis, man. In 40 minutes, he had 33 points, 16 boards, 1 assist, and 3 steals. Also had a block shot. And I'm starting to think, just take who's ever cheaper in this whenever these guys are playing, out of him and Boogie, because Boogie was priced up to 10K. I think Anthony Davis was about 9.8, 9.6, something like that. So Boogie in 29 minutes had 29 points, 6 boards, 4 assists, 1 steal, and 4 blocks. There is no way you can roster both of these guys together. Jrue Holiday in 38 minutes had 18 and 1 to go with 9 assists, 3 steals, and 2 blocks. Pretty solid game there from him. We saw the Jordan Crawford kid in 18 minutes. He had 12 points, 1 board, 2 assists, and 1 steal, and didn't see much else, man. For a moment, it looked like, Solomon Hill is going to do it again. As in 36 minutes, he had 9 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, and 1 steal. Did not do much in the second half, where he scored most of his points in the first. On the Houston Rockets side, Trevor Ariza, disappointed in 33 minutes. He had 8 and 9, not a great game there. Ryan Anderson, 13 and 6, not a great game from him. We saw Clint Capella for 28 minutes. He had 10 and 13 to go with 2 assists and 2 blocks. Pretty decent game from him. Pat Beverly in 31 minutes had 17 and 6 to go with 2 assists and 1 steal. That was a solid game there. And James Harden fell 3 boards shy of the triple-double. He had 38 points, 7 rebounds, and 17 assists. Also had 2 steals and 1 block while shooting 50% from the field. Hit 5 of 12 3-point shots and 9 of 11 free throws. Very solid game we saw there from him. Now, we still got a couple of games that are being decided. The Minnesota Timberwolves and the Lakers, and the Sacramento Kings and the Golden State Warriors. So let's go ahead, now that we've jumped into the recap of last night's games, let's go ahead and jump into a very quick, well, wait a minute. Let me show you my very best DraftKings lineup. This is my very best DraftKings lineup, and there's a few things that I want to point out to you about this one. Now, some of the plays that are in this lineup came from some of the research that had been done in the sweatshop. We talked about the perfect DVP. It's a study that's been going on in there. The homie Rudy Herta just released another video. Actually, he had been researching, the perfect DVP. After the night's over, he looks at the perfect lineup, then he back tests it to see, what conditions brought along all of these guys being the perfect lineup. And a couple of these plays came from there. Now, let's look at Anthony Davis. Was a guy that we figured out that even though, because see, DraftKings will throw your ass off with those the DVPs they post. It was like a 7th ranked DVP. Well, from what we recovered, what he uncovered, it was that Anthony Davis was probably in the best spot for power forwards on the night, and that's why I had him in this lineup. Next, Dario Saric was in a very good spot for power forwards against the Chicago Bulls. We saw Giannis was in a very good spot against the Atlanta Hawks, not being a point guard, but being the primary ball handler for the Milwaukee Bucks. We got him in there. I wanted to get a piece of the guy that was going to be guarding him the most. I thought Talbot of Aloysius would be a good play. Turned out not to be so. Robin Lopez was the obvious chalk on tonight, and he only had 4.25 DraftKings points. That's an anomaly, man. Very rarely will a guy that's 44% owned do that bad. I guess the worst I've ever seen a guy that highly owned do without, getting ejected or, just something crazy happening, him not being able to play to a complete game. So this lineup finished with 295.25 DraftKings points. Was good to cash in all of the tournaments that I had it in very easily. Made a small profit over on DraftKings. Still waiting on my Yahoo to finish up, and the Timberwolves and the Lakers just went to overtime. Ooh, so I should be on track to profit there. Had a couple guys from that later game there. So now let's go ahead and jump into a little bit of the player pricing for tomorrow, but we're going to do it kind of different because the slates are so choppy. We're just going to run through those as quickly as we can. Now, what we've got here is a 2-game early starting at 3:30. We've got the 4-game regular main that starts 7:30, and then we've got a 3-game late that starts at 8:30. So you're more than welcome to jump into these, play them as you want, as your own risk. But if you want to take a day off, I have no issue with that at all. As a matter of fact, you can make some lineups in the late, throw them bitches in the main right here. That's probably going to be a very solid strategy on a day like today. So we're going to roll through these games, man, just to get into them and to see where we'd like to invest. Of course, in these games, we're going to be stacking. Of course, you've got no choice but to stack in the early 2 games, as well as the 3 games. In the 4 games, you have no choice but to stack. So this is going to be a stack slate all around. Now, we will not be issuing out any cheat sheets tomorrow. We're going to take a teacher's workday, I guess, a day off. College basketball is going to be rolling. We're going to have some NASCAR going, but we're not going to be issuing out the cheat sheets in the newsletter tomorrow. For all of you that subscribe to the website, I am going to be jumping into the midday mix. We're going to be talking about those things, and that's where all of the content for today is going to be. Probably around 2 o'clock. Let's say 2 o'clock. I'm probably going to jump into the midday mix and address everything and talk to everybody, and we're going to get those things squared away. So let's go ahead. We're going to start with that 2-game early. Let's jump right into there. Here we go. Of course, not a big player pool here As we already know, we've got a couple of guys that I think maybe out, maybe out. I know that I saw something that said maybe LeBron was somebody who may not play tomorrow. That's something that I saw automatically. They may want to rest. Of course, they were on that back to back. So of course, we're gonna start here with the Washington Wizards and the Cleveland Cavaliers. There is not yet a point total on this game, of course, because we don't know the status of LeBron James, and of course the big three all together. And it's pretty safe to say I don't think we're going to be seeing too much Kevin Love tomorrow. So I think we can go ahead and get rid of him. But LeBron's probably not going to be playing tomorrow as well. So you could roster this, caution, man, because who knows if it comes out early that the big three is going to sit. Who knows if they're going to play John Wall? So I mean, that's just something that we just have to look to all together. The next game we're going to talk about is going to be the Utah Jazz going to Los Angeles to take on the Clippers. That's also a part of this 2-game early slate. Now, this should be a good one because it's very tough, in my opinion, to roster, tall guys. It's hard to Gobert, people against Gobert. And DeAndre Jordan is probably the safest play usually on the LA Clippers, and it's just going to be very hard to roster him against Rudy Gobert. But I think in some spots you're going to be forced to if you wanted to get exposure to a lot of these guys, and then probably the scrubs from the Washington and Cleveland game. A few guys in here that I do like. I think we can definitely take advantage at the point guard position with Chris Paul, matched up against George Hill. I see that as no issue at all. You also can look to Gordon Hayward in some spots. He's going to be matched up a lot of time against Bob Mute. I think that is a winnable matchup for him. Jamal Crawford coming off the bench is going to be a very solid play. I think Blake Griffin can catch some solid run in his spot. There's a lot to like about this LA Clipper and Utah game without going hard at either center as far as Rudy Gobert or DeAndre Jordan. It's going to be a center duel, a center matchup. Neither one of these guys are going to shrink. They're going to both try to play very hard against each other, and I can see that being a very solid way to get ahead in your lineups for the early game slate. And next, we've got a 4-game slate. Now, some of this is bleeding over. Some of the 2 games is bleeding over into the 4-game slate because the Washington-Cleveland games is a part of the 4-game kind of main DraftKings slate. That's going to be the first game of the main DraftKings slate. And that's where your larger tournaments are going to be. You're going to have Toronto-Dallas. That is a 195-point total. You're going to have the Knicks and San Antonio. There is no point total yet for that game because we know we're dealing with some injury concerns. Then there's the Minnesota and Portland game. It's going to be finishing out this little 4-game main DraftKings slate. Now, the injury concerns we do have for the Knicks side are going to be Carmelo Anthony's a game-time decision as well as Lance Thomas. Derrick Rose is a game-time decision. So that's kind of what's holding up the point total for this game. We don't have any injuries on the Toronto. Kyle, of course, with the exception of Kyle Lowry, nobody's injured on the Dallas side, so those guys are going to be all good to go. As far as Minnesota and Portland, barring anybody get injured while this game is in overtime against the Lakers, the only guy we're going to have out is probably going to be Pekovic and Bielita. Of course, Festus Ezeli is out for the Portland Trailblazers and has been for quite some time. Nobody's listed yet for that Cleveland and Washington game, but we do know there could be some risk, so we want to pay attention to that. That is a game that does start at 7:30, so we're going to have plenty of time throughout the day to check on that and make sure everything's going to be up to speed, or we're going to be up to speed with all of that. Towns interests me, of course. Kawhi Leonard going up against my New York Knicks at 10K. That is a very interesting play, and what we're going to do is we're going to be stacking, man, and finding the higher point total, like the Portland total. I think that's a very stackable offense. I think that's a stackable game. That's probably what I'm going to do. I'm going to stack Minnesota and Portland, and I'm going to get any scrub love I see in the Washington-Cleveland game as far as guys that may be sitting. So when we look on the Cleveland side, I'm talking about, if LeBron doesn't play, automatically you can look to Darren Williams, Richard Jefferson could be a solid play. Derek Williams, of course, Kevin Love is probably not going to play, so you're going to see some Channing Frye. So there's a lot of guys to like, some scrub love guys to like, and they may counter. Washington may counter with saying, "Well, you're going to rest them, or we're going to rest John Wall," because John Wall is pretty nicked up right now, and he does need a couple of games of rest. So we may see that too, but we're going to have to be on the lookout for that as those things work out. Now, and the funny thing is, both of these teams are vying for playoff position. They both are. And I think that the Charlotte Hornets took a lot out of Cleveland today. I mean, LeBron was getting beat. He was getting beat. And he rose to the occasion and had a very great game. So Toronto Dallas is going to be another interesting one. If I had to choose, if this game beats the 109, 105 point total, if I had to bet the over and under, I would bet the over in this game. It's a 195 point total. I have no issue with this game, it going well above that total. I like DeMar DeRozan. Again, he is still at 8.7. That's a very solid price for him. You can even look at Jonas Valanciunas in this spot. He's 4.9K. There's not a lot to love on this 4-game slate as far as the center position. So he's somebody that you may want to take a look at. I think Nerlens Noel, if he gets a start, can be a really solid play there. But the only thing is, Jonas is such a heady, savvy veteran. And, Nerlens works completely off athleticism. He goes for any head fake. He bites on any sudden move. He's jumping out the gym. And I think you can see Jonas Valanciunas take advantage of that. Now, they may switch up the rotation a little bit and start Dirk at center. And if they do that, I don't have an issue with Dirk there. We may see Harrison Barnes at the 4. I kind of like the spot that he's in, matched up against Serge Ibaka. I don't have an issue with that. Serge is 5.5K. Coming off of that suspension, you can look to him definitely. And if you want to, look to the bench some, maybe a guy like PJ Tucker can be in play, or Norman Powell. On the Dallas side, I immediately like JJ Barea in the spot. I think JJ Barea can really bounce back. He had 10 DraftKings points out last time. Nobody's going to want to play him. I think he'd be in a solid spot. 20th ranked DVP, not an issue with rocking with him because, I mean, Seth Curry, I mean, he starts again and plays that point guard. You can look to him as well. So there's a few guys that I do like. New York Knicks, man, this team is a dumpster fire. It's my favorite team. I've never seen these motherfuckers win in person. They are horrible to watch. Poorly, and I used to think they were poorly coached, but they don't understand what the triangle offense is. And for the triangle offense to work, the best player on the team has to completely buy into it. And usually that guy understands what it really is. The triangle offense is a trick. It's not even real. All it means is that everybody continues to move. Nobody stands still. Now there's a base triangle already set up, with the shooting guard, the point guard, and the big in the paint, and they move around. But the other two guys should constantly be in motion. The only thing that should stop in a triangle is the ball. That's it. The triangle is about the players moving and being in constant motion. No ISO ball. It's kind of a trick for coaches to get you to run and for you to stop being lazy and just standing there waiting to shoot threes or waiting to shoot, or waiting to just slash to the basket, waiting on your turn. It's the way to move it out the ball. And the ball is supposed to catch up to the player, not the player catching up to the ball. And Carmelo Anthony is a lazy motherfucker. Does not want to buy into that. Of course not. He wants to play hero ball, and that's why they have this big tug of war, this big struggle. And we need to not get rid of Melo, because I love Melo. He's my favorite players. But this is not the team for him. He needs to go somewhere where he can be a contender. We need to blow this shit up and build around Kristaps Porzingis. I hope that's what happens in the near future, because we are wasting probably one of the best young talents in the league bullshitting around, trying to figure out what we're going to do with Carmelo Anthony. All that being said, if you don't see Lance Thomas tomorrow or Carmelo Anthony, you can give me some Chasson Randle, maybe some Justin Holiday, Guillermo Hernan-Gomez. Ron Baker probably will get the start if you don't see Derrick Rose. I really don't want a piece of that. But Mindaugas Kuzminskas will probably see the bulk of the minutes at small forward for Carmelo Anthony the way he did the other night. I think he'd be a very solid play. And of course, Kristaps Porzingis is my favorite play on the New York Knicks side. On the San Antonio side, definitely Kawhi Leonard. I like him a lot, even though he's 10K. This is a short slate. Ignore the price. Just get the player that's going to score the most points. I don't have a problem with him. I don't like LaMarcus Aldridge a lot. I really don't. I would much rather look to Paul Gasol off on the bench, or maybe some Manu Ginobili off of the bench if he does see some time there. And the last game on the slate, Portland Trail Blazers and the Minnesota Timberwolves. Immediately call Anthony Towns. Yes, give me some of that Ricky Rubio. I like Wiggins. This is a true stack, man. Gorgie Jang. We can stack this 4 deep easily. And maybe if you can't afford all 3 of those guys, all 4 of those guys, and you want to pay down some, Shabazz is sitting there on the bench at 4.8K. It's 105 point total. 216 is the game total, but 105 is their team total. That's That's enough to get some love from the bench. That's enough. Portland Trailblazers, their implied team total is 111. Dame Lillard is balling out right now, playing on another level. Got no issue with him. I do like Yusuf Nurkic in this spot. Maurice Harkless kind of stands out to me as well as Allen Crabbe and maybe some Evan Turner. Maybe some Evan Turner. So then we have that late game slate. That's at 3:30. Excuse me. Excuse me. That's at and see it kind of bleeds in. It kind of bleeds in because it's just Toronto, Dallas, New York, San Antonio, and then Minnesota, Portland. So you can make some lineups in that late and just throw it in the 4-game main. So which spells to me like if you want to take a day off tomorrow is the day to do that. So this has been your DFS Jerusalem. Of course, you can follow me on Twitter at DFS Jerusalem. Thank you so much for your support of the show. If you would like to further support the show, there's a box over there. It says support the show. Go ahead and click that box. If you would like my personal PayPal information, it is simmonsmaurice95@yahoo.com. I do accept tips. And if you want to become a full-fledged member of the DFS Sweatshop, it is very simple. As simple as going to the website www.dfssweatshop.com. That is where you receive our tips and tricks and strategies and tools to make you a profitable DFS player. Baseball is coming right around the corner. I cannot wait for that. We've got some really bright minds inside the sweatshop raring to go, ready to get on that. Also, with your paid subscription, I will pull back the velvet rope and I will usher you into the very best Facebook group that there is online, man. The DFS Sweatshop Insider Access Group. You will be a full-fledged member there. Of course, let's go out and have a very cool, calm, and relaxed Saturday. If you're playing, play hard, but just play light. Play hard, but just play light. If you know what I'm saying. Go in. If you're going to do it, do it. Go all the way in on your research, but play light. You're going to throw your money away. Baseball's right around the corner. Let's go out and keep it 300.